So recently, I went on my first backpacking trip ever. It was kind of like one of those bucket list situations, where it was something I've always wanted to do, and finally, I made it happen. And it was incredible. It was better than anything I could have imagined. But it being my very first one, I learned quite a lot about backpacking that I didn't know. And one of those things that like I knew I would feel tired, but I didn't know I would feel that tired. I mean, I was not mentally prepared for the level of exhaustion that I would feel at certain points in my hike, right? Like especially midday on the last day. This tiredness, this exhaustion set in. My body was aching all over the place. My pace came to like a screeching halt. I was taking more breaks and really just kind of struggling through it. And your mind can do funny things. I had 10 miles to go, and I was sitting there, and my mind started like these little doubts begin to creep in. While I knew physically I was more than able to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish, these little doubts begin to like get into my head, like, what if I can't do this? And I really had to, part of my exhaustion was I really had to fight against some of those doubts that were sort of creeping into my mind. Well, this is kind of what's being addressed in Isaiah chapter 40. And I don't mean to compare my little hiking trip to what the Israelites were going through, because they were in exile, right? They had been dominated and expelled from their land by a foreign country. And I can't imagine the level of doubt that can just sort of overcome you if you're in a situation like they were in. And what the author really is doing in Isaiah chapter 40 is he's arguing against this doubt of an entire nation. This doubt that says either God can't or God won't. This is the doubt that the author is arguing against in Isaiah chapter 40. And I wonder, before I read this scripture, I wonder, are you there today? Have you been there? I mean, certainly there are times in our lives where there is doubt about whether God can or whether God will in our lives. So this is what the author says in Isaiah. He says, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall." But listen to this. "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Well, this incredible thing happened. I had about 5 miles to go. And suddenly, unexpectedly, like strength was renewed in me. Energy was renewed in me. My pace picked back up. My body felt less sore. And those last 5 miles of my trip felt really similar to the first 5 miles of my trip. It was an incredible thing that I had experienced. It's what I think runners call a second wind. Well, the author reminds us that in those moments of doubt, that strength that God can give us can be renewed. It can be renewed within us to stare down and outlast our situations in our lives that bring doubt, and especially doubt in God. That as we continue to hitch our faith to Him, He can renew us each day and the challenges that each day brings. So that's my prayer for you today, to be renewed and to have your strength renewed to overcome any doubt that you have that God is God of your life.